Hello, I'm Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. I'd like to show you a different way to do the pork tenderloin. Rather than doing it where we sliced it and seared off the medallions, I'd like to show you how we could do it as a roast or how we could roll it. To start, I'd like to show you a simple sauce. And what I did for the sauce is I started by sauteing off some apples and a little bit of garlic. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of apple cider. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of chicken stock. And then what I'm going to do is let that come to a boil. Once that comes to a boil, then I'm going to sort of puree it all together and strain it into a nice little sauce. So just let that boil up. Then for the loin, what I did is I made a stuffing by sauteing off some onions. Once they caramelized a little bit, I added mushrooms, and then I added some apples. And then what I have here is my pork loin. And what I did is I took the pork loin, I butterflied it. So imagine it was like this, the tenderloin. I butterflied it this way with the knife and then opened it up like a book. Saran wrap down and used my meat mallet to flatten it out. So now we're going to put the filling in the center. And this is a great recipe because you can get super creative with your filling. It doesn't just have to be the apples. You can do all kinds of things in there. You can do, traditionally people do like a bread stuffing or things like that. This is similar to in level 1 we made the chicken roulade. And what you want to do is just bring it together. Now, when you bring it together, if you remember from level 1 when we did the roulade, we tied it together with twine, with butcher's twine. But what we're going to do is use something that will hold it together and also give it some flavor. So we're going to use strips of bacon. So we're going to fold it back up. And it's a little tricky at first, but I just take my bacon around, and you're just using the bacon as if it was string. And you just keep going around with that. And once you get to a point, it'll hold itself. If you want, you can almost use it like string, and I can put a guy on this end just to sort of hold it in place for me. There we go. And then we keep going. So we keep working this way. Keep working. So there we go. And then what's going to happen is you're going to roast this in the oven at like 400 degrees until the internal temperature is where you want it, whether it's a little bit of pink at 145 or all the way up to 160 with no pink. And then by that time the inside will look good and the outside, the bacon should have browned. If the bacon isn't quite where you want it, then what you can do is you can put it under the broiler for a little bit to get the bacon to brown. So you got a really nice little wrapped tenderloin there. Let's set that. Now the sauce, once it comes to a boil, I'm going to turn it off, and what we're going to do is just use the burr blender like we did in a couple other episodes and just sort of kind of bring it together. We're trying to blend up some of the apples, kind of mush them in there. You're not going to get all the apples mushed up probably, but what it's doing is it's really helping to thicken it. Okay, so then what we're going to do is strain the sauce just back into a pan. We don't want the chunks in there. Okay, so you can see we got all that kind of pulp and stuff, got the flavor out of the apple, flavor out of the garlic. And then I'm going to bring it back up on the heat a little bit. And I'm just going to let it thicken. So as the sauce starts to reduce, it's going to thicken, and you're going to have a really nice sauce. I'm going to turn that off. And then, as you've seen me do many times with my sauces, I'm just going to add just a touch of butter to it, just to give it that velvetness. You could even add a little bit of cream to this one if you wanted to, a touch of cream. But I'm just going to add the butter in there and just give it a really nice texture. And now to plate this, what we're going to do is I have some red mashed potato, and I did a roasted carrot. And then I'd like to show you what a finished one looks like. So here you can see after it comes out of the oven and rests for a little bit, what you're going to be able to do is slice it and serve it. So you're going to cut right through the bacon. Give yourself some nice little slices. Maybe I'll do 2 in this case. And what you can see, the pork looks great. You got good color on it. You can see it holds itself together. Really neat look at that apple filling. And then just take some of the sauce. I'll just put some of the sauce on top. And there you go. There you see how a different way to prepare the pork versus doing it as like a mini pork chop as a medallion. You can go ahead and roast it, and you could just roast it plain, but it's really nice to fill it, and it's a neat trick to have that bacon wrapped around it as well for another texture. So thanks for cooking with me today, and I can't wait to cook with you real soon right here at Mr. Polk's Kitchen.